Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Why We Let the Rhythm Take Over with me, your host Ryan, and our guest, Mr. Ellison. How are
Hey,
you doing today?
good morning, everybody. I'm doing well. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing awesome. Um, Mr. Ellison is a music teacher, and how long have you been teaching for?
So I've been teaching since 2003, so this is year 23 for me, right?
Yeah,
22, 23. Yeah.
23. And how's it been?
It's been interesting. It's been an interesting ride. I started off as a high school band director
Yeah.
in Jasper, Shrewsbury, which is a school district kind of west of here. And then I moved down and I taught in Baltimore for 3 years. I taught orchestra and band and general music. And I started getting involved in some music technology stuff. And then I moved back up here and I've been at Corning since 2008. And I started teaching in Corning. I taught middle school band, and now I'm teaching, guitar and electronic music and music production and some of our adaptive music classes. So it's been a pretty cool ride.
What has been your favorite instrument to teach?
My favorite instrument is the ukulele, and I know you can't see this on the podcast, but I do have a ukulele tattooed on my arm because it's my favorite instrument to play and to teach. So
What made it your favorite?
I think it's because of the access. It's a very accessible instrument. It only has 4 strings. You can play a number of chords with just one finger.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have a lot of background skill in order to pick up the ukulele. You start making music on it from day one.
Wow. I never actually knew that about a ukulele.
Yeah.
But anyways, today what we'll be talking about is why is music subjective, and we'll be listening to songs that tell you guys how it makes us feel. So in the second segment. But before we do that, are you ready for some questions?
Absolutely. Fire away.
Okay. Do you believe there is such a thing as objectively good or objectively bad music, regardless of personal enjoyment?
I'm gonna. You can cut all this out. Just give me a second to think about my answer here. Ask the question again.
Do you believe there is such a thing as objectively good or objectively bad music, regardless of personal enjoyment?
I don't think so. That's a good question. I tend to try and find the good in all forms of music. Even if it's music that I don't personally like or enjoy listening to, I think there's something about it that you can find that's entertaining or meaningful or conveys some sort of emotion. I will say that there is some music out there where the lyrics are hurtful and degrading and talk about some things that I just don't personally agree with, and I just tend to stay away from that kind of music altogether. But as far as it being bad music, I don't think it's bad music. It's somebody out there enjoys listening to it and it speaks to them. But yeah, I think all music has something to offer. You just got to keep an open mind and open ears.
That was a really good answer. Wow. Okay, how much does technical skill, complexity, or vocal performance factor into your judgment of a song's quality as opposed to simply whether you enjoy listening to it?
That's a good question. It's funny. Because I teach music production, I've seen the industry change over the years. And I think I'm going to sound like an old man, but earlier musicians had more vocal ability, more vocal skill. I think some of the instrumentalists, well, I shouldn't say instrumentalists because it's crazy how good some instrumentalists are now, guitar players, bass players, keyboards and stuff. But I think as far as vocals go and singers, I think it was more difficult to produce a very high quality song or album before we had a lot of the technology now, like auto-tune and all these different plugins and so forth. But I also think that technology has made and people people are using these plugins and using this new technology to really develop new styles of music. I mean, look at T-Pain. He's made millions off autotune, and he's using autotune for something that it was never designed to be, which is basically like it's his signature voice. You know what I mean? And he's a good singer by trade. Like if you hear T-Pain sing, he's like a really, really good vocalist. But he uses autotune to manipulate his voice into something that's entertainment, and people jive with it. And you know, it's he's used this piece of technology to make a new style of music, basically. So
yeah. Do you think he would be better if he tried to do that without technology and just try to like use his own voice?
Well, I don't know if better is the word, but that's the style of music. That's what he developed. You know, he stumbled upon autotune, right? He stumbled upon it, started using it, really liked the sound of it, and then he's developed his style. He's developed his sound through that technology. You know, so. Would T-Pain singing about being in the club sound different without autotune? Yeah, it would sound way different, and it might not have the same impact that people want to listen to. So
yeah, okay. If a song sells millions of copies and is incredibly popular, does its commercial success mean it has a certain level of objective quality? Do you want me to like say that?
Say that again, yeah.
Okay. If a song sells millions of copies and is incredibly popular, does its commercial success mean it has a certain level of objective quality?
That's a good question. Think on that for a second.
Okay. And that's only the third question too.
Is it? How many questions do you have?
Like 11, maybe more.
All right. You know, I think commercial success for a piece of music has a lot to do with its quote-unquote quality. You know, people listen to music for a certain reason, and music sells for a certain reason, whether it be because it's just the name of the artist, whether it's because you know, the artist has a certain following. Like I tend to believe that successful music is that way because of a certain factor. I don't know if I'm making much sense right now, but
No, that makes sense.
you know, like Taylor Swift uses a lot of the same chord progressions in her music and changes the lyrics, and she is a billionaire because she knows how to sell her music, and she knows how to sell that persona that she's trying to put out in front of people. So even though it's the same simple chord progressions for, you know, a lot of songs, there's even a chord progression called the Taylor Swift chord progression because she uses it so much in her songs. So you got to go beyond, like, you know, is it just the music, or is it a whole emotional feeling and world that this singer-songwriter, these musicians are trying to sell to their audience? You know, I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered that question right, but
No, you did.
yeah.
But anyways, how do early experiences in the music your parents listen to shape your system to analysis for new music you hear?
That's a good question. My father used to listen to a lot of like 70s like funk records and stuff, and I think that definitely shaped me because I listened to a lot of like new funk bands and kind of I don't know, these rock funk bands. I think what your parents listen to has a lot can definitely influence what you listen to, or what younger generations listen to, for good or for bad. Like I also know my dad listened to a lot of country music, and I now don't really enjoy listening to country music, probably for that reason, is that it didn't click with me when I was younger, or there was some sort of, I think when we listen to music, I think a lot has to do with where you are in life and what is going on around you when you're listening to that music, if that makes sense. So like, I remember like my dad listening to country music, and it was during the summer, and it was always during like when we were outside, we were doing a lot of chores and doing a lot of yard work and stuff. So I think I equate country music with some of those negative experiences.
Yeah.
And that may be a reason why I don't enjoy listening to country music these days, So I think music is so involves so much of our lives, more than just our ears, it shapes us, and what the music our parents listens to shapes us in many different ways.
So, do you think if you weren't doing like negative things and listening to country music, do you think you would like it better now?
I think so, yeah. Like I think if I was like at a concert with my father, or a concert with my family, and listened to country music, and there were, people dancing around me and stuff, and I think I would enjoy it more, Yeah. I think it's I tend to bring my children to a lot of Dave Matthews Band concerts, and the environment that we bring them to, we're out in the yard, and they're sitting on a blanket, or they're dancing and having fun, and again, it becomes, the music is a huge factor in that, but that's also the environment, and it's also that experience that my kids will remember. And I think, whether or not they're Dave Matthews Band fans is fine with me, but
yeah,
I think that style of music and that environment will stick with them for a while.
That's cool. How has your taste in music changed as you've aged, or your life experiences have changed?
Yeah, like that's good. I used to listen to, like, when I was in high school, I used to listen to like all punk rock music. That was it. I just, Green Day and NoFX and Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, and I would just, like, that was the music I was into, and I was in high school, and as I went through college, I started listening to a lot of more like classical and jazz and instrumental, and now I just really listen to kind of everything. I'm more drawn to more electronic music and like funk and stuff like that. But my tastes have definitely broadened as I've gotten older. I'm not really sure why, other than the fact that friends of mine have always been really good at pointing out like new music, new musicians.
Like suggesting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's always been super helpful, because and now with Spotify and all the streaming services, you listen to one group and it suggests another group, and then you just go down that rabbit hole of new bands and new music, and I think that's super powerful. It's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, this is a long one. Is there a link between a person's personality and their music preferences, and do people's music choices reflect or shape their identity?
Say the first part of the question again, please.
Is there a link between a person's personality and their music preferences?
I think without a doubt, like I was saying before, like music, I think music shapes us in so many different ways, and again, like teaching music over the years, you get to know students who are quiet, but then they share a band with you that they really like, or they share a song with you that they really like, and it's like, it's basically kind of putting yourself out there, for judgment. And I think that's kind of the coolest part is when somebody tells you about a piece of music that they really like. It's like saying, hey, here is a part of me. I want to share this part of me with you. And it can be a nerve-wracking experience, because let's say I'm walking down the hallway and I see a teacher, and then I say, hey, what are you listening to? And the teacher's like, well, I'm listening to like this heavy hardcore rap, and like
Yeah.
and like you would never expect that from that teacher, but then all of a sudden you know something about this person that you may never have known before, and then you get to talking to them like, well, who's your favorite artist? And this is my favorite artist, and why is this your favorite artist? And they can start talking about maybe some of their life experiences, why they started listening to this certain style of music. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I think music certainly, I think your personality, your life experiences certainly shape who you listen to, for sure. And what was the second part of the question?
And do people's music choices reflect or shape their identity?
Yeah, I think I already talked about that.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
Does knowing the backstory or the creative process behind a song change how you feel about it?
Man, these are excellent questions.
Mm-hmm.
I would say yes. I think it's always important for, if you like a piece of music, if you like an artist, if you want to know more about that creative process, like that research, that deep dive into that song is always beneficial, and it certainly makes you appreciate it more. Some of the techniques of some of the artists that I listen to, some of the, like, I can't remember, the name is lost on me, the producer, but he always, like, when he's recording a kick drum, he always puts the microphone inside of a 5-gallon water jug next to the kick drum.
Really?
I mean, yeah, and so like that's like the sound he wants. And like, there's a band called OK Go who does a lot of crazy things with different instruments that you wouldn't know unless you did that deep dive into finding out more about that song and how they produce their music. So I think anytime that you can learn more about that process and learn more about, let's say why a vocalist wrote this line, or why, or how Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine does those crazy things on guitar.
Yeah.
I think it makes you certainly appreciate the song more and probably enjoy it too.
Do you think, let's say you really like this song, and then you search up like a backstory to it and something you don't like personally, do you think that should affect the way you like the song, or no?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if you like it, you like it. I mean, good music is good music. I mean, think about like all the artists, hip hop artists, who have sampled other music. A lot of those samples weren't cleared. A lot of them were just kind of borrowed, or I hate to say it, maybe stolen in a way. And some people are against that. Some people are fine with it. But in the end, like good music is good music. If it sounds good, you might as well enjoy it.
Okay. How does the context of listening affect your experience and enjoyment of music?
What do you mean, the context of listening?
The context of listening of like just listening to like the lyrics and just like.
So say the question again, I'm sorry.
How does the context of listening affect your experience and enjoyment of music?
For me personally, I am not a lyric person. I know some people, when they listen to music, like the lyrics are the first thing they pick up on.
Yeah.
That's never me. I mean, I could probably listen to a song 1,000 times and not be able to tell you what the lyrics are, or at least recite the lyrics back to you. I am an instrumental person. I really pick up on like what the drum set's doing, what the keyboard's doing, or whatever instruments are in it. There's been a few times where I've listened to a song that I really, really liked the sound of, and then I go back and look at the lyrics and I'm like, oh, those lyrics maybe aren't the greatest for my kids to listen to. But again, music is so personal that when you listen to a piece of music, like whatever way you listen to it that's the way that works for you. If some people are instantly drawn to the lyrics, and me being an instrumental person, like, well, that's such an easy chord progression. How can you actually like that song? There's nothing going on. We're like, well, look at these lyrics. Listen to these lyrics. Look at how much of emotion and expression they convey. It's that. for that person, that's what's important to them. For me, something else might be more important. As far as what to listen to. So, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you think a song's like beat can like get old?
I think yes, definitely. That's a good question, because my electronic music students a lot of times are like, well, I want to come in and make beats. I'm like, that's fine, let's make some beats. And they start making some beats, and it's like the same thing, for like 2.5 minutes. The same repetitive thing. I'm like, you gotta have something to break up that monotony of what's going on. And it's kind of like life. You're going through your school day, and you need something to break up your school day, whether it be lunch or whether it be talking to a friend or talking to a teacher. Something that will wake up your brain and reorganize your brain. And that's why a lot of times when students are making beats, I try and get them to experiment with adding some vocal samples to it, or some sort of audio or something in there that will just kind of make it more exciting, make it more engaging to the listener.
So do you think that would work all the time? Is just like adding something else to a song would make it better, or make it more pleasurable within the song?
I think it depends on the song. I think it depends on the song. And it depends on the listener too. I mean, there's people. What I listen to. Sometimes I listen to this ambient electronic minimalist music that just goes on for like 20, 30 minutes, and it's like maybe like 2 or 3 notes, and it's so long and spread out. And for me, that is perfect for what I need when I want to listen to that. So I think everybody will always say when they listen to a piece of music, consciously or subconsciously, I'd like to change that, or I wish this was here, or I don't believe ever that there's a perfect piece of music. I think it just applies to what you're feeling at that time, and
Okay. Why do you think people often take so much pride in their musical tastes or judge others for theirs?
Again, like we've talked about this a few times, because music is so personal. It's it's an extension of you, and music has significant cultural and historical and personal values that are ingrained way deep, and it is a prideful thing, and I think sometimes music may what am I trying to say? I'm losing my train of thought. I think sometimes we blame music for what may be a different underlying issue. You know what I mean? Like, let's see.
Are you trying to say, like, for example, like you in country music with chores?
Perhaps, yes. Perhaps. I want to go back and say, like, the whole East Coast West Coast thing.
Yeah.
When that was a huge battle, the artists were using music as a vehicle to bring forth other issues and other kind of bad things. But essentially, like I said, like, music is so ingrained in our lives, and we have such strong connections to it, that I think we do carry with it, or it does become a part of our personality. So, for good or for bad, people like what they listen to, and they want to share what they listen to with others, and I think with someone, you say, hey, I want you to listen to this piece of music. What do you think? And someone says, I don't really like that because of this, this, and this. It hurts, a little bit. It makes us feel a little bit, I don't know, disappointed that because it's like, hey, here's a part of me. What do you think? And if they don't like it, then it's a little disappointing. So.
Yeah. Can you describe a time a piece of music helped you through a difficult moment, or how does the personal connection factor into your perception of its quality?
Man, these are tough questions for that.
I know.
A time with music. I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to nail down a specific time when music helped me, because I think music helps me all the time. I use music it's such a part of my day-to-day process. Like, I use music to teach, I use music to inspire, I use music to create, I use music as stress relief, I use music to motivate myself, and I use music when I exercise, when the few times that I get to the gym. It's literally constant. Like, I always have music going on the car ride home, when I'm trying to think about the day and de-stress, when I've had some moments in my life that I've had to kind of step back and just sit quietly and put in my headphones and listen to music and just kind of be away from reality for a while. But it's like constant, I use music for humor. Like, it's just, I perform music, so yeah, I don't know if I can pinpoint one specific time, because it's just all the time.
Okay. Well, great job answering those questions. Next, we'll be listening to music and telling the artist how it makes us feel. Okay. We'll be right back after these short messages. Ready to listen to music and tell the viewer how it makes you feel?
Yeah, let's listen.
Okay.
I can see the video in my head right now.
Really?
By hearing it. Oh yeah.
How many times do you think you've listened to this song?
Do you have the time
So many times.
to listen to me?
It's a good song.
Yeah.
About nothing and everything all at once. I am one of those melodramatic fools who run into the phone, no doubt about it. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Am I just I went to a drink to all of my dreams. She says it's like a sex that's bringing me down. I went to a whore. He said my life's a bore. Child, please not avoid it, 'cause it's bringing me down. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid?
Probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably good. So that song, it's funny, the power of music when you hear something that I haven't listened to that song in a little bit,
Yeah.
probably recently, because I listen to other stuff now, and it instantly brings you back to a certain time in your life, like just like all of a sudden. And I remember like that was the first song I learned how to play on the guitar when I was trying to learn how to play guitar when I was 14, and
Yeah.
yeah, because that song came out in '94, and then like I started getting into skateboarding, so all my friends were, and like Green Day being a punk rock band, that was like, really Green Day was like a gateway band for me to discover all these other styles of punk rock and all these other different punk rock bands.
Yeah.
So like, they were the first concert I went to when I was 14 down in Binghamton.
So they have like a special place in your heart.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was a member of the Dookie Club when they had that, and yeah, it's I was a huge I still am a huge Green Day fan. I don't really listen to them a whole lot anymore because their style has changed a little bit for me, but I still appreciate them. And like I said, it just like brings me back to like summer times in the '90s. Like just yeah, it was cool. So
Sounds like a great time to just like be alive.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
All right.
'90s, '80s, and '90s were the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next song.
Let's do There Is a Home by the Cinematic Orchestra.
Okay. By Patrick Watson, or featuring Patrick Watson.
Yeah.
All right.
There is a house built out of stone. One of those walls and windows set. Tables and chairs warmed by all of this is a place that I don't feel alone. This is a place that I call my home. I built a home for you, for me, until death disappear from me. Oh, I'm here, and I stop
That's pretty good. Yeah, so that song, like, I discovered the Cinematic Orchestra, I think back in like when was it? I don't know. They've been around for a while.
Yeah.
I think I discovered them like back in the early 2000s, I believe. But like it's just like when I heard that song, it's like I'd never heard something like that before. It was just like this cool sound, and then like I talked earlier in the podcast about lyrics, and like that was the first song. Now I shouldn't say that was the first song, but that was a song where I intentionally went and looked at the lyrics, what they were saying, and like and it's talking about there's a home and what home feels like, and you know um, kind of the significance of the word, the idea of home. And for like me, it resonated a lot because like when I had kids and we've provided this home for my children, um, like it meant something different to me. You know what I mean? Like, and that's another thing, we're talking about how music can mean different things to you in different stages of your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, where when I heard that for the first time, it didn't have the same meaning as when I had kids and when I owned my own house and stuff. So yeah, it's a pretty cool song.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, all right. Well, that's like the end of our segment.
All right, man. It was good. Thanks for chatting. This is great.
Like, thank you for coming out. Like, actually.
You got
And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. And don't forget to let the rhythm take over. Goodbye.